Welcome to the Mind for Success podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Lebbing, and I love seeing business professionals, leaders, and entrepreneurs have massive success in their businesses. Are you ready to reach a higher level in your business? Are you looking to rise to the top and break through the barriers that are holding you back? If this is you, join us on the Mind for Success podcast. All right. Hello and welcome to the Mind for Success podcast. My name is Kimberly Lebbing, and I am here with my good friend, G.W. Slaughter. He's a business coach. He's an amazing person. I've known him for a long time. He's been coaching for a number of years. He's an AIMS business coach. I'm going to have him tell you about that because I think it's an awesome thing. And he helps businesses accomplish their life, their entrepreneurial, their sales goals. He's a veteran. He served in Desert Storm, and he's spent the last 2 decades building businesses. So welcome, and thanks for being on today.
Well, hello. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are quite welcome. I'm excited about this conversation because I don't know. I mean, you're like famous in the St. So if you're listening to this, he's famous in the St. Louis business community. So excited.
Well, thank you. I worked hard to build a great network over the last 14 years. So I'm really I've really learned how to step back and kind of reap, the benefits of that. So thank you very much for the compliment.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. So I don't know that as many times as I've been around you and talked to you, I don't know that I've ever asked you this before or know that your backstory. How'd you get started?
Well, my most successful, I dabbled in, around in the, entrepreneurial arena for several years. Even did a couple of franchises with a couple of friends of mine. But in 1999, during the height of the housing market, I decided to get into the real estate appraisal business. So I quit my 6-figure job to go be an apprentice appraiser for a year. And I made maybe $23,000 that year doing appraisals. There was always a bigger picture. So in 1999, I branched off, started my own appraisal business that grew very quickly. So started my appraisal business in 99, and grew very quickly. We became the second largest appraisal group in the state of Georgia. We were training people. We had our own apprentices, several different properties. And then 08 came. So 07, 08 came, and housing crash. Everything got wiped out. So we started, I came back to St. Louis, and I was like, I'm going to do is just going to, still give a good company 25 good years of my time and retire, do the whole gold watch thing. And that lasted for about a year and a half. So in 2009, one of the guys that I was working with was very tech savvy at the time, said, "Hey man, let's do digital marketing." And I'm like, "What is that?" He's like, "Oh man, it's, YouTube videos and SEO and, websites." It's like, "Oh, I know what websites are." And so this was very early on, before social media really, this was in the early days of Facebook, the early days of LinkedIn. And so we built a very good business of doing digital marketing back in 2009. Got my first office in Chesterfield, started doing a lot of networking out there, working with the Chamber of Commerce, BNI, the West County Chamber of Commerce, things like that. It started, networking became an easy thing for me. Mm-hmm. And so started to meet a lot of great people, doing a lot of great business. And then I started to lead some of those organizations. And we grew the largest BNI chapter when I was president. We had a 50-member BNI chapter over a 2-year period. We were the largest chapter in the 2-state area. Had a lot of fun doing that, helped a lot of people grow their business. And so I learned that I had a knack for networking, but not only networking, but coaching people, helping people. I was, came from a place of giving. So, a face-to-face meeting to me or a one-to-one meeting with me was more like a coaching session than just, a get to know you. I was like, hey, how can I solve your problem? And after a while, my buddies were like, hey, man, what are you doing? It's like, you should be getting paid to do this. Why are you just, and so, after several people told me that, and, I was kind of opposed to monetizing it at first, because I just thought it was, hey, it's a gift. I want to help people, but after a while, you start to realize that there's a happy medium between helping people and making a good living, doing it. And so I slowly started to dip my toe into the coaching pool around 2007, 2008. I started learning from some really great people, the Brian McCrae's of the world, and Chris Robinson. So there's a lot of great people that I got to know over the years who really invested their time, but mostly I learned from watching. You learn from people like that because they are just so good at what they do and it looks so easy. And so I started my coaching business in 2018, sold my digital marketing company. At that time, we were primarily doing only web design. So I sold that company in 2018 to another local company, and I stayed on for 2 years. And so, and then during the pandemic, the business started to really take off. So for the last 2 years, I've been doing it exclusively, and I've never been happier. I've never been happier. It feels good to help people win. And that's always been the feeling that I've had, whether it's been voluntary or whether it's just been, coming from a place of abundance. It just feels good to see people win.
Yeah.
And to be a part of that.
Yeah. I think we talked a little bit about this before we even hopped on. Once you're a coach, if you're really truly a coach or a consultant, it's hard to not coach.
You can't turn it off.
Yeah, you really can't. So solving people's problems or helping them find the solutions is it's just kind of part of what we do. So I love it. Like the
old saying goes, when you're a hammer, everything's a nail. And so every time somebody mentions a challenge that they're having, the hammer just comes out. You just start swinging. It's just automatic. I get it.
Yeah. But you've got a very
but that's not a plug
nature.
For free coaching.
No. No, not for me either. So, I know we were talking about you're an AIMS coach. So tell us about that. I think some of the processes that you have taught and that I've heard you speak on, I think are just genius. So tell us about AIMS.
Well, when I first started coaching, I realized that everybody needed the same 4 fundamental cornerstones: accountability, implementation, mindset, and strategy. So accountability. So when you become an entrepreneur, most of us go into the mindset of, hey, I got this. And we kind of flail our arms and we do what we want to do. We take time off when we shouldn't. We push our goals off. We don't have that person next to us holding us accountable. So one of the great things about being a coach and having a coach is having that person that's holding you accountable, not only for your goals, but for the things that you say that you want to do, the things that you say you want to accomplish. Put them down on paper, whether it's holding you to the business plan that you wrote or to a weekly or monthly goal that you want to accomplish. And then implementation. I had a lot of clients that would fall off very quickly early on, and it's because they weren't implementing.
Mhm.
So if you're not implementing, you're going to make us both look bad. You know,
True.
So if you're not, so it's very important that you're implementing that. Through that accountability, the implementation comes. And then mindset, which you're way better at it than I am. But I always say that I'm a business coach on the outside, but a mindset coach on the inside, because I'm very, very meticulous about making sure that my people are growing, not just in their business, but in their whole life. I've got clients that like to are taking more vacations. They're not just making more money, they're taking more vacations. They're working on their relationships at home and with their families and their spouses. Because I don't want to just 10x your business and you go home and the dog is biting you and kids are running away from you and your wife is sleeping in another room. That's not healthy either. So the mindset is very important. I had a client one time says, "Hey, you know what? I've been with a lot of coaches. You're the first one to ask me every time, hey man, how are you doing? What's going on with you?" And so we spend a lot of time on that. I believe that gratitude is the cornerstone.
Mhm.
So every time we talk, hey, what are you grateful for? And being happy where your feet are. And then strategy. That is the gift that God gave me. I'm a very strategic thinker. I think in zeros and ones, basically. And so if you give me a complex business problem, my mind goes into calculator mode, and the RAM and the DOS and all that other stuff kicks in my brain, and I automatically start going into problem solving mode. And by the end of the conversation, we'll have some viable solutions and some viable projections.
Yeah, I love this. One, I'll say with mindset is huge. So, that's my thing.
Yes.
So I'm like, I love that
Yes.
you address that, because it's just a set. Well, every single piece of this is so necessary.
Yes.
And
because there's so many programs and coaches and gurus out there that just say, hey, just work 14 hours a day and you can hit your goals, and you can do 10 times more than what you did last year, and and money, and that doesn't solve any of the problems.
no, because if you can't implement, or you don't have the accountability, or your mindset, or something's going wrong at home or whatever, that it's all connected.
It is. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where Ames came from, and it's been working very, very well. I have a 0% attrition rate for anybody that does 6 months with me.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And not every coach can say that. So literally. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah. And if they don't, there's always a new horizon. And people have different coaching strategies. People do one-offs. People do, goal setting, and hey, I'll do this in 6 to 8 weeks. I build relationships, and so that's the important thing. Building those relationships that says, hey, what are your 5, 7, 10-year goals, and how do we reach those together?
Yeah. Well, their business, honestly, their business is a long-term thing, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah.
So,
hopefully. That's the thing, if I'm looking, I like working with people that are looking to scale, and scaling is a perpetual thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So you also, just because I know I've heard you speak, I know you also work with new businesses a little bit with planning. Right. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I have a what I call a business plan boot camp, going back to my military roots, because business planning is nothing to take lightly.
Right.
I think a lot of people have bought into the idea of doing it lean. I think that a lean plan should come from a actual robust plan. I think that the robust plan is for you and it's your internal document for you, or something that you want to, that helps you with your vision and your mission. Then you can take from that and abstract from that the lean plan that you can share with the rest of the world, and so they can get it. Nobody's gonna sit down and read a 40 to 50-page business plan unless something is in it for them. So you can take, but building it gives you all of the insights, And what I like to tell people is that business owners are right here. They're looking at the vision. They're looking at where they want to be, and a business plan and a business coach are your peripheral. And when you're writing a business plan, you think about things that you hadn't thought about yet. You experience things that you haven't experienced yet. You look at your competition differently. You look at your SWOT analysis differently, things that you haven't taken the time to do. You start to build, look at your customer, your client base differently. One of the biggest traps that we fall into is like, I sell sandwiches, so my client is everybody that eats. It's like, no.
Right.
everybody eats, but everybody doesn't eat your sandwiches. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. You made me think of just back in the old B&I days. I think that's where we originally met, but there's always somebody that stands up and says, I serve everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not very good marketing. You'll get very little that way. Another thing that I found out when I was just a member before I even got into B&I leadership was that when I'm in terms of, and this is just not a B&I thing, but in terms of when you're starting to look to build a network and you're looking for that small circle of people of referral partners, it's always best to ask for the person that is sitting in front of your client on a daily basis, right? So we spend a lot of time talking about, okay, I want to meet this person or that person, and we're looking for referrals to specific type of client, and everybody's not sitting in front of that client. So I'll give you an example. When I was in the web design business, I would say I want to meet a banker, a CPA, or a lawyer, an attorney who does startups, right?
Right.
So those three referrals would net me 100, because a banker, there's always business bankers opening up new accounts. There's always CPAs that are setting up tax structures, and there's always lawyers that are starting LLCs. So introduce me to those people and I'll get the referrals from them. Don't worry about looking for clients for me.
Right. That's smart. And I know you've been networking literally for years. So yes. Yeah. I know that, anything that comes from you, I know that's gold.
Well, thank you.
And I think
it works for me.
Yeah. And a lot of people go into it with more of a hunter, I guess, mentality of who can, instead of the farming, which that's what I think of you. You're planting seeds.
Yeah. And it depends on where you are. It depends on where you are in your business too, because if you're new to an area, or you just changed companies or changed positions, or you're just getting out there networking for the first time, by all means, use the shotgun mentality. Meet as many people as you can as quickly as you can before you start to drill down on something like that.
Right.
You want to get your name out there, your reputation out there. You want to use it as a marketing tool early on. But a year or two into a new city or a new industry or a new company, you want to start to drill that down a little bit and start to really focus on those people that are going to be more industry specific to what you're looking for, that can refer you multiple clients. But at first, you want to take that shotgun approach. You want you want to take as many face-to-face meetings as you can, and you want to get your name out there, and you want to toss out 1,000 business cards. But if you're still doing that 5 years down the line, you might have missed something.
Right. Right. Good point. Good point. So I'm curious about what kind of problems or what kind of things do you see that people struggle with the most in their business? Or is there one thing?
Oh my goodness. And the top two, I would probably say number two would be time management,
Yeah.
task management. And where you and I are both in the midst of reading the 12-week year and implementing that, which I found to be the most powerful tool for goal setting in my lifetime. And so because it's task oriented, it's not necessarily time oriented, which makes all the difference in the world. But I met this one person who I was considering coaching with, but they were very trepidatious about investing in themselves, which is a whole nother conversation you and I could have
Right.
offline. You're not
Right.
investing in me, you're investing in yourself. But I looked at their calendar and there's all of these colors, and it was on the iPad, and there's all this time block colors and days, and everything's full, and like I'm a month out, and I'm like, are you hitting your goals? No, not really. Well, why is your calendar full? What is it actually full of? We know what it's full of, but I'm not going to use that word. It's a family show. But what is your calendar doing for you? And so by implementing something, and by implementing the things and taking those meetings and doing the things that are going to lead to, I call them RGAs, revenue generating activities, should be at the top of your list. And don't feel bad about that. I know you want to have coffee with everybody. I know you want to be the nice person, but how does this meeting affect your bottom line?
Yeah.
Because we get up in the morning, we brush our teeth, we go out, and we leave our families behind, and we burn up our gas to go to meetings that are not producing revenue. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have no potential of producing revenue. Oh yeah, I've been meeting with this. Some of us have been meeting with the same people for the last 5 years and never got a referral or any kind of business from that person. They're just a nice person that we met at a networking event, and we're having lunch under the auspices of doing business. And that's just not fair to you. That's not fair to your family, and it's definitely not fair to your business. But the number one thing I run into with clients is they just really don't know what to do.
Mm.
They just really have this. They know where they want to go, and they have all of this stuff mapped out.
That's why their calendar's all highlighted. They don't know what to do.
When I say, I wouldn't say mapped out, because it's not mapped out. It's a dot on one end and there's a dot on the other, and there's nothing in between. So I kind of help map it out. And just that's it. Strategy, meticulous strategy, problem solving, standard operating procedures, accountability is another one. So just having the right mindset of how to attack your business and how to really take control of your business. And going back to an old cliche, if you're not running your business is running you.
Mm.
Most people that have come to me fall into the latter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I see, just going off what you just said, I see some businesses, especially newer ones, they create a job. Like, I'm going to go in business for myself,
mm-hmm.
but they literally create more of a job for themselves, and they're
they don't really a lot of them get successful.
Yeah.
They got a ton of clients. They're making a ton of revenue, and they're just at a lot. They're going nuts.
Yeah.
Because they number one, haven't learned how to scale. And I said, here's the three things you need to do. Think about, this is how you scale a business. You partner up with somebody, you hire somebody, or you outsource. That's how you scale your business. And the way that you do it is you look at You look at the things that you don't like to do. You look at the things that you're not good at. You look at the things that are what I call minutia. You know, like you said, if you are writing, if you are the person writing the thank you, or excuse me, not the thank you notes, but if you are the person that's actually, what is the word that I'm looking for? If you're the person that's doing the work of the assistant, then you're the assistant.
Right.
Right. You're not the leader of the company. If you're doing, I had a client one time, I was up to 7 o'clock last night working on the job description. It's like, why? Why? You have people for that. You know, delegation is another one, because I would say 80% of my clients have multiple employees, and delegation is always a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. And that a lot of times it's a mindset thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say now. Like me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that's a mindset problem. A lot of times, probably a lot of the people I work are opposite. They haven't quite made that jump to hiring the employees. But the reason that they don't is because they don't trust. Like there's like deeper mindset issues that go along with not wanting to let go and scale and all those things. So I can see, I can see that.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. I get that all the time. It's like, and some of them have the employees, but they don't, it's not that they don't trust the employees to do it. It's that they don't trust themselves to allow the employees to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
The returns are amazing.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what ends up happening which turns out to be a good thing for me, is like, okay, well, you know what? Let me coach them. I'll coach you and I'll coach them, and then we'll all get to the promised land together.
I'll get on the same page.
So I'll send that invoice out on Tuesday.
That's great. I love it. So, as far as problems that you see, is there anything else?
Just, there's a lot of things that as I start to deal with larger and larger companies, there's always going to be a lot more moving pieces. And for me, there's a lot of things that are out of my depth. So that's another thing that has changed. So having somebody like yourself, having having people like my friend Jennifer, who does HR, having people that can come in and address different issues is a great thing. So even for coaches, it's great that I have great relationships with other coaches.
Yeah.
Because we create opportunities for each other. Going back to the networking piece. But yeah, there's always a business without a challenges is out of business. The only business that don't have any challenges is hung up the close sign already.
Right.
So there's always going to be a need. It's just making sure that the needs are being met.
Yeah. 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 And I don't do anything strategy. So that is not even, I don't do business plans. I don't do strategy. I don't even touch that stuff. So I like having other coaches and people in different areas that do. I mean, I have 2 coaches myself.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's just, it's something that we do, but you get, I don't know, getting what you need in whatever area you need and being able to recognize it, I think is really important.
I have 2 coaches and a very good therapist.
All are important.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
That's one of the things, when you're taking on other people's stuff, you got to be able to find a release for that. And that's just in life in general. Yeah. And I know you know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that like on a deep level, because, I know that, my 4-hour thing that I do, I literally, after I am with a client for a day, I have to take like a self-care day.
Yeah.
Because, I see the massage therapist and the chiropractor or go, whatever I want to go do to kind of decompress. It's important.
Yeah, it's like I said, even Superman wasn't Superman all the time.
Right. Yes. He occasionally took off the cape.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go work at this newspaper for the day.
Right.
Because there's always something for Superman to do.
Yeah.
Superman was
Yeah.
never at a loss for a crisis. I can tell you that.
Yeah. 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 It's the same. It's the same for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is. And that's it. That's it, and but yeah, so it's really something I enjoy, something that I'm going to like. I'm never going to retire because the more that everything that I thought that I knew before I started coaching has been totally, I don't just exploded.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned so much more from in the last 4 years about business that I didn't know, especially dealing with different industries. And so there's always going to be more for me to give. So, and I found my niche. I found my calling. This is it. So I'll be 90 years old helping somebody with helping my great grandkids with their business plans or something. I don't know.
I hear you. Like I said, once you're a coach, I don't know that you can really stop doing it. So I feel the same way. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
want to ever stop this. I might do less of it eventually, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you get to the point. There's a lot of people out there that that some of the numbers that I've seen people getting, they don't have to do much. you
Right.
know, some of the numbers I've seen people getting. Hey, I got 3 clients. I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that's true.
They get 1 hour a month each.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's see. But no, but and then you find ways to give back to the
Yeah.
community, because that's another great thing about coaching. It frees me up to really work with veterans. I work with the
Mm,
Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and I work with one of my goals is to do everything I can to eradicate homelessness. And I hate using the word eradicate, but uh, to reduce homelessness in the St. Louis area and
yeah.
beyond.
And it's a
So I do a
huge
lot of
problem
stuff for
here.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's really actually we've gotten it down quite a bit over the last few years through programs. I'm on the board of directors for St. Patrick's Center, which
Mm,
is one of the largest Catholic charities here. But the reason why I'm involved is as a non-Catholic is because it has programs that are systematically built to take you from homelessness to housing,
mm,
not just give you a sandwich,
right.
you know. And
Yeah.
so that pulls me in. It keeps me busy. It keeps me going. We do a lot to try and help the homeless community at large, but more my major focus is veterans.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good
Hmm.
because, yeah, I knew you had a big heart for veterans because you are a
Hmm.
veteran, but
I
also
am.
I know you've been very actively involved with Chamber of Commerce is what came to mind. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's good to know about these other
Yeah.
things too.
Yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
chamber was started to help veteran business owners and have a networking space, have a educational space, have a place where we can get together and have camaraderie. But we also work with other companies to help them hire veterans. We work with the VA
Mm,
to help them onboard veterans and hire veterans and help veterans get access to the things that they have to fight for. So it's been a very, very interesting journey with that, which we started in 2018 as well.
mm.
So it's though when you narrow your focus, and my focus is very narrow. My coaching business and my veterans are where my focus is at. So if I'm not doing one, I'm doing the other, or I'm doing them both at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So, and it's important to have those other things that you're passionate about. So it's
Yes.
not just about your business. Makes
Yeah.
life fun.
hmm
And
It also helped me. It's also helped me compartmentalize.
mhm.
You know, when I was telling you that, you know, before when I got into the coaching business, before I started, it was so easy to just give it away and do that. So I can help more over here if I'm more prosperous over here.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. I get
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
hmm
That's fun stuff. So what's the best way for people to connect with you?
The best way to connect with me is to go to my website, gwslaughter.com. And just there's all the information is there. You can go and fill out a form. You can contact me. My phone number is there. You can also go to my LinkedIn page under GW Slaughter, and I have a Facebook page and on the GW Slaughter as well.
Awesome.
The
Awesome.
Entrepreneur's Coach.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He's the real deal. So yeah,
Well, thank you.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for being on today. So it's a
Thank
great
you, Kim.
conversation.
Always,
I enjoyed it.
always great to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you ready to break through the barriers that are holding you back and reach a higher level in your business in just 4 hours? Be sure to click the link today and join other high-achieving professionals that have worked with Kimberly Lebbing to accelerate their success.